Okay, so I'm here with Damian, my good friend, who now just to describe what it is you do, or how do you describe what it is you do?
Well, I learned a Vedic traditional practice of Ayurveda that's very tribal and mostly depends on just lifestyle practices rather than herbs and medicines to heal yourself. I basically teach that between New York and LA, and I go to different parts of America too, and to Europe and India, and I just teach that knowledge to people.
And sometimes that's massage, and sometimes that's lifestyle choices.
Depending on the person, I might work on them, but most of the time it's lifestyle.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
That helps.
Yeah, no, it's amazing stuff, and I've been coming to Damian for years.
Yeah.
And and you were an early adopter of the Zen effect, like a really early adopter.
Yeah, I was like, while you were making it, I was like your biggest fan before you'd even produced them, and I used to listen to those versions of it that when you first made it. But because a lot of the practices that I do to create, it's mostly just to create balance and calm and a state of Zen.
Right.
And really, from that state of Zen, our body just heals itself. Healing is not something we can do to ourselves.
Right.
It's something that happens when we're in a state of balance. So
how did that manifest? How do you use the tones?
I use them in multiple ways. I have just one of my programmings for the Zen effect is I use it to calm myself. So whenever my blood pressure goes up or my mind is restless, or like say for when I fly, my nerves and my legs get jumpy and stuff being in a plane. And I use this Zen effect as a stabilizer because it creates that single note allows my brain to not waver up and down and have thousands of thoughts. And really sound is such a deep, we produce sound. Yeah. Earth produces sound, the sun produces sound, there's vibrations. So these, when you hear these vibrations, you kind of sink into them, and you're able to keep this state of balance or Zen for hours, because a lot of those are more than half an hour long.
Do you keep them going all the time, or?
Well, I use them at night. I always sleep with them, so at night I'll put on, depending on my mood, because mostly I like the lower keys for sleeping.
Yeah.
Higher keys for when I'm doing physical stuff or being active. But my favorite is to use a drone at night whenever I want to meditate, sleep. So I've kind of conditioned my body to get an instant relaxation when I hear those sounds.
Okay.
And it's very much like what I learned with humming. I was taught to do humming in the Tibetan style and in the Vedic style.
What's the Vedic? I know a little bit about the Tibetan style.
Om.
Oh, okay. Okay, got it.
That, yeah.
So quite deep, very deep.
Very deep, yeah. So when you bought those drones, I was like, oh my god, this is like an Om running for half an hour. I don't have to sit there and breathe and do all this work, which is fine when I'm meditating or before meditation, but like I want to just relax a lot of the times, like in a plane or something. And it creates that same vibration, and the humming, you can actually feel, especially if you put it on speakers and you lay down and do a corpse next to some good speakers, your whole body is resonating and vibrating with the sound.
Right.
So it's kind of like a harmonizer, just like those bowls can do, or different kind of healing. It's very I would call it a platform for healing.
And do you use it with the other people? Do you use it with your clients, or?
Yeah, I prescribe it to most of my people. Anyone who has any nervous system or get anxious or has like depression or any instability, it's a very good way to stabilize because it's a stable sound.
Right.
There's not ups and downs in the notes. It's a very comforting sound.
And how do you think they use them?
Well, most of the people I've the feedback, they use them all day. They just
really put them on headphones or in the background?
At work. Yeah, they'll sit at work, and it just cuts a little bit of the background noise out. But it never takes your attention. So you can, even though it has it's a very tricky thing. This that what you've created, because it's the harmony of it is in between waking and sleeping.
Right.
So you can be awake or you can be sleeping, and it doesn't
Right. Yeah.
disturb it actually takes you deeper into what you're trying to do.
Right. Yeah. You know idea how much I had to fight myself to make sure that there was no events in it. Yeah.
It's so important, because those events, remember you made one and there was this little piece where it rose up?
Yeah.
It made me nervous and shook me.
Yeah.
And now that they're just that it's just so, it allows your body to not have to think about its maintenance and all of its little functions.
Right.
It can relax, enjoy this vibration.
Yeah, that one was a beta version. We didn't end up using that.
No, we never used that. But that was, it was still amazing. Like you were using the Om, the Tibetan sounds, and that was so cool, but it still it took you somewhere. You thought about Tibet, you thought about a person.
Right.
This just lets you just be.
Yeah.
Like there, you're just there. And you can work, you could do all kinds of stuff with that going, and it creates a very, especially if you use it in meditation and while you corpse and sleep, if you use it in a work day and you're sitting there on your computer, it really calms the nerves and takes away a lot of the bioelectric energy that you're around. And also the computers and all these things make us electric.
Yeah.
This just cuts that electricity from the body. The neck's relaxed, the arms, legs are relaxed.
So a bit of grounding, you'd say.
It's very grounding, because it's this constantness.
Right.
Consistency creates comfort and safety.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so I'm very grateful that you made that, and I mean, I still listen to the first one. The second one has been amazing, and I find that I use them for different things. Like the different songs I use for different.
Do you know which ones you use for which?
No, because it's very emotional, and I don't have like a particular thing, because sometimes I'm very sleepy already. Then I like the higher ones that I feel like I'm traveling up in space.
Right.
And then the lower ones make me feel like I'm falling down into space.
Yeah.
So it really depends. If I'm wiring my brains super, then I use the lower. But if I'm already falling asleep, I'll use high, because it allows me to like have really up dreams and moving and light, even though my body is heavy and asleep.
Right.
So it's like a prescription, really. When you go on there and you look, you're prescribing yourself what you need, because it's very medicinal. It's not like a song, which are also things that give us a certain effect to make us happy or sad and stuff. But this is purely mostly based on healing.
Right.
And creating contentment, which is from a state of contentment we can heal and evolve, and
yeah. Very cool. Thanks very much.
Absolutely.
I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Stop.